like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Jimin is busy cooking, focused, moving naturally through the space. And nearby, Jungkook stands close. He doesn't say much. He doesn't need to. He's just there. Watching. Waiting. Present. It feels like a quiet form of care, like he's making sure he's close enough to help, if needed. Even when others sit down to eat, he remains standing for a while, as if unwilling to step away from that moment. Then, when he finally speaks, "All right, let's do it," his tone is casual, slightly insistent. And immediately, Jimin reacts. His expression says everything, a mix of mild annoyance, amusement, and reluctant acceptance. It's so natural, so unfiltered, that it almost feels like watching something unscripted, because it is. Nothing about it feels forced. It just happens. The cooking scene itself becomes another moment of chaos. Jungkook keeps adding salt, convinced the food lacks flavor, while the others try to reassure him. And then, the realization hits. They forgot the garlic. Jungkook's reaction, half frustration, half resignation, is both hilarious and oddly endearing. It perfectly captures the unpredictable energy of the moment. Later, the conversation shifts again, this time toward the future. There's a reflective tone now. They talk about how far they've come, how much has changed. And yet, despite everything, one truth remains constant. They enjoy being together the most. That sense of togetherness extends beyond official content too. There are glimpses, rare ones, shared through others. A simple dinner, captured in a casual post. Jimin, Jungkook, and Jin sitting together, surrounded by staff. No stage, no performance, no spotlight. Just presence. Moments like these are quiet, almost ordinary. But that's exactly why they feel so meaningful. Because they aren't meant to be seen. And yet, sometimes we get to witness them anyway. It creates the impression that they don't feel the need to showcase everything. That what they have doesn't require validation. It exists fully whether people see it or not. And perhaps that's what makes these glimpses so powerful. They're rare, unfiltered. And then, there's the Tampa concert. A moment that, on the surface, seems simple, but left a lasting impact on many. As Jimin delivers his closing words to the fans, his voice is filled with emotion as he says, "I love you." It's sincere, heartfelt, directed toward the audience. But then the camera catches Jungkook, standing nearby, watching. And for a brief second, so quick you might miss it, his lips seem to form the words, "I love you," too. But his gaze isn't on the crowd. It's on Jimin. That contrast is what makes the moment unforgettable. One message meant for thousands. Another, possibly meant for just one. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's interpretation. But that's the beauty of it. It leaves room for feeling. Because sometimes, the smallest moments carry the most weight. So what do you think? Could it be that these quiet, almost hidden interactions reveal something deeper than the bigger, more obvious ones ever could? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more stories like this here on Na Dior Pop. See you in the next video. Purple Heart. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Na Dior Pop. Have you ever looked at someone and thought they seemed almost perfect? Not because they have no flaws, but because the way they embrace themselves feels so genuine, so effortless, and so captivating? Today, we're going to talk about someone who embodies that kind of quiet perfection. Park Jimin. But this isn't just about admiration. Today, we're also diving into the small, almost invisible moments, the ones that don't demand attention, yet somehow leave the deepest impression. Especially the subtle, warm dynamic between Jimin and Jungkook, a connection that often reveals itself not through grand gestures, but through the simplest, most fleeting details. Trust me, the beauty lies in what's easy to miss. From Jimin's soft yet magnetic presence, to the chaotic fun of Run BTS Episode 2, to those quiet, wordless moments that somehow say everything. This is where we'll explore it all. Before we go any further, let me share something that has stayed in my thoughts for a long time. To me, Jimin is the kind of person who feels complete. Not just visually stunning, but emotionally and artistically balanced in a way that's rare. There's an elegance in the way he carries himself, something gentle, yet undeniably powerful. His presence holds a kind of duality that's hard to explain. He is soft yet strong, warm yet composed. There's a calmness in him, but also a quiet intensity that draws people in without effort. It's not something you can define easily, it's something you feel. Behind his smile, there's intelligence, empathy, and a deep emotional awareness. Jimin isn't just talented, he's dedicated, constantly refining himself, always striving to give more than what's expected. There's sincerity in everything he does, especially in how he treats the people around him. His kindness doesn't feel performative, it feels natural, instinctive. Even at the peak of global recognition, he remains humble. And that humility only amplifies his light. It makes everything about him feel more real, more grounded, more human. What makes Jimin even more fascinating is his balance. He can be playful, bright, and effortlessly funny, bringing laughter into any room. Yet at the same time, there's a maturity in him, a sense of quiet wisdom that surfaces in the most unexpected moments. His charisma doesn't feel forced, it flows naturally, shaped by honesty and warmth. And beyond all of that, there's his artistry. Jimin is expressive in a way that feels deeply alive. Every movement, every glance, every subtle expression carries meaning. Watching him isn't just about seeing, it's about feeling. There's something almost poetic in the way he exists as himself, authentic, open, and full of heart. He's not just an idol. He's someone who inspires others, not through perfection, but through sincerity. And if you feel that too, you're not alone. Now, shifting from Jimin as an individual, we step into the dynamic energy of the group, especially what we see in Run BTS episode 2. This episode is pure chaos, but the kind that feels comforting. The kind that reminds you why their chemistry is so special. Amid laughter, random conversations, and unpredictable ideas, Jungkook once again stands out, not by trying to, but simply by being himself. There's something about his presence. It's effortless. He doesn't need to dominate the room, yet somehow, the room naturally gravitates toward him. At one point, while they're casually eating and chatting, the topic of military service comes up. It could have shifted the mood into something heavy, but instead, something unexpected happens. Jimin and Jungkook talk about it with a sense of ease, even excitement at the idea of going through it together. And suddenly, everything softens. The noise fades just a little, and what remains is something quieter, deeper, an unspoken understanding that lingers beneath the surface. Even when they're not sitting side by side, their connection is still there, clear, undeniable. A brief touch, a subtle movement, the way they instinctively reach toward each other without thinking. These aren't grand actions, but they don't need to be. For them, physical closeness isn't just habit, it's language. A silent way of saying, I'm here. Their shared humor adds another layer to this dynamic. Not everyone understands their jokes, but they do. Completely. A single glance, a small smile, and suddenly they're both laughing as if they're sharing something only they can see. It feels like, even in a crowded space, they exist in a small world of their own, one built on familiarity, comfort, and years of understanding. Then comes the chaos of brainstorming ideas for Run BTS 2.0. Jungkook suggests a concept, each member assigns a task to another member. Simple enough, until the twist is added. The person receiving the task isn't allowed to speak. And that's when everything spirals, in the best way possible. The ideas become increasingly ridiculous. Jin tells Jimin to climb the Himalayas. Taeyong suggests Yoongi try pole dancing. No one can protest. No one can explain. They just have to accept it. The room fills with laughter, uncontrollable, genuine, and loud. It's absurd, but that's exactly what makes it so enjoyable. You can feel how much they cherish these moments, the freedom to just be chaotic together. But beneath the laughter, there are quieter moments too. A simple conversation about old clothes turns into nostalgia. Memories of their early days living together resurface. Some of them still keep those old items, not because they're useful, but because of what they represent. Those pieces of fabric hold stories, struggles, growth. Even small gifts become meaningful in retrospect. Though, as always, the sentimental mood doesn't last long before it's playfully interrupted by jokes. One of the most subtle yet meaningful moments happens in the kitchen.